One of my favorite games of last year, or just really of ever, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Unfortunately, kind of an unfinished game. It's kind of it's great to imagine what that game could have been if it was really just finished totally. And this book just came out, which I'm extremely happy about. Dark Horse published The Art of Metal Gear Solid 5. This is $40. It, I think, came out like 3 days ago. I think, drunkenly pre-ordered it, and then it showed up, and I was very excited, which was nice. And
Isn't
looking
that
through
nice? It's like getting yourself presents.
Special Christmas. But yeah, this is, I mean, if you've seen video game art books, they can be very hit or miss. This one is definitely a hit. It's got lots of, Yoji Shinkawa, concept art, and then kind of weird in-game stuff. Just really, if you're looking into doing cosplay, this is an awesome resource. It's got lots of cool details.
What I really like about this book is that besides being like ostensibly a picture book and kind of low on narrative, it does a really great job of like theming things where you're like, these are all the patches, these are all the animals, these are all the guns. Like, I have a lot of art books that are completely haphazard in the way they tell a story. I think this one's great. It actually almost feels more like a Metal Gear Solid 5 encyclopedia.
Yeah, definitely. It reminds me of those kind of like those,
the Star Wars
books I would check out of the library. They're like, what do guns look like? Oh, by the way, if you like guns, this is full of them. Anyway, what's really cool though is that this shows a lot of concepts. Some of them got used. A lot of them are pretty close to what the finished product was. But there are a few things in there that are totally give away what Metal Gear was going to be doing had they kind of followed through with what they intended to do. Obviously, if you played the game, some of this should be familiar. If you're still getting through it, avert your eyes. There might be some minor spoilers here. D-Dog, your good, faithful companion, is a dog. He gets some funny outfits in the game. Apparently, he was really going to get fully dressed up. There was going to be like gas mask D-Dog and like full battle dress D-Dog. I don't really like he kind of gets sort of an S&M thing going on almost, like it's a little bit too much clothing for a dog to be wearing, but obviously they were
You actually can't even tell what kind of animal that is by the end. That could be a sheep.
It kind of looks like just Psycho Mantis as a dog.
Yeah, totally.
And then of course, D-Horse, who's cool as well. He had some fun costumes. You got to turn him into a flaming unicorn if you played the game real good. Apparently, was going to also have a nice Western attire with some buffalo horns, as well as full parade dress, which is like kind of ridiculous. I can totally see that being a thing.
What's that thing on the right? It's sort of like the bottom right is like kind of like a Spartan helmet almost.
Yeah, it's like a crazy marching band horse. And then there was also the battle gear, which was this thing you spend most of the game developing it. It's in some cutscenes, and then it's not in the actual game. Like, you never get to drive around in this thing. Apparently, at one point they did implement it, and you could screw around, but it was basically too overpowered. It kind of screwed up the balance of the game. I mean, with a thing that's pretty much just a miniature robot tank, it's sort of difficult to be like, what are you going to fight? You're going to fight either a Metal Gear or a whole lot of dudes, and I think it probably was just, not really fitting the Metal Gear.
Well, this would have been great for those vanishing, disappearing psycho boys.
I would have loved to.
What are those guys again?
The skulls.
Oh, the skull.
Yeah,
I hate them.
those guys.
I get like terrified just seeing pictures.
But yeah, there's some close-ups of what it was actually going to do. It looks like it kind of was going to. It's got kind of silly, funny legs. It kind of got up on its haunches or whatever. I love this kind of stuff. There's also there's an image in here of a force field. It's really, really small, but it was going to have like all these different kind of weapons and gizmos and gadgets. Here's a photo of it. I guess it gets all kind of gets all worked up and gets on its rear. I love this stuff. I just love like seeing what could have been. This could have been something they also scrapped early on and just it wasn't in there. But obviously we wanted that in the game. This one I can't remember if this is in the game. I feel like it's not. It's like a cool little funny truck. I like this wiggly little tank. I like these funny wheels. I just want to toy this. I think it's cool as hell. I feel like that might be in there and I just forgot. But anyway, it's a cool truck. Sorry for showing it to you if you've already seen it. And then here's a real big one. Chico, who presumably dies in Ground Zeroes or just disappears or whatever. Looks like he was going to come back as a boss, and a really terrifying one at that. He's kind of got like I know what you did last summer. I know what you did last game, I guess.
Yeah, he's got this sort of like Hatchet Man, Imperial Guard Jedi thing going on. Very tattered. I love this. This is awesome.
So yeah, this is probably the big reveal of what's in the art book. Just a lot of cool stuff in general. If you're on the fence about it, I say go for it. I'm just really happy to have something that kind of goes in depth on this. One thing that's really totally nuts is if you haven't seen it, the ending of Metal Gear Solid 5 does sort of exist in a halfway finished form. It's a really weird that they didn't really publicize this more. They've got a bunch of cutscenes that were like 30% rendered, as well as a bunch of animatics and kind of storyboards that they cut together to basically make like, here's what could have been, and it was included in a Blu-ray that came with like the special edition of Metal Gear Solid 5, so it kind of got buried.
Yeah.
You can find it on YouTube. It's like half an hour that shows some very weird stuff with Liquid Snake and basically a little bit of a tease of what sort of the third area of the game would have been.
Which is also in the art book, right? You were showing me.
Yeah,
some
it's
of that.
in the very
it's really
very
cool.
last, but,
it's very interesting to see like they built this entire location and then we're like, yeah, we can't do it.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it sucks. I don't think we're ever going to see Metal Gear Solid 5 finished. It's
Nope.
just it's not going to happen. It's a Hideo Kojima joint, and he's off doing Death Stranding. But yeah, Metal Gear Survive coming soon.